According to Statistics Canada, the crime rate in Canada is as low as since 1973. Despite this fact, yesterday, December 5th, the Conservative Party crime bill, C10, otherwise known as the Safe Streets and Communities Act, passed in the House of Commons with a vote of 157 to 127. In light of the lowest crime rates in Canada in almost 40 years, why is the Harper government pushing for mega prisons and higher minimum sentences when this model has yet to work elsewhere? Well, the Prime Minister's office asserts that the bill will tackle crime and make our streets and communities safer, despite the sociological evidence that it will do just the opposite. They would say that it goes a long way to holding criminals fully responsible for their actions. In fact, Bill C-10 ignores statistics that show violent crime is on the decline in Canada. From 2009 to 2010, total crime and the Crime Severity Index both dropped 5 to 6%. This bill favors a deterrence model of justice that has proven disastrous in the United States. It favors incarceration over rehabilitation and reintegration, and that will lead to prison overcrowding, just as it did in the United States. Bill C-10 imposes mandatory minimum sentences for a range of offenses, stipulating an end to conditional sentences for new offenses, the elimination or delay in eligibility for pardons, tougher sentences for violent and repeat offenders, and offers virtually no protection for the mentally ill. The cost of this legislation will be enormous. It costs on average $100,000 per year to incarcerate just one inmate in Canada. If passed in the Senate, C-10 will force judges to incarcerate people whose offenses and circumstances clearly do not warrant time in custody, and whose time would better be spent doing things like community service and being in drug treatment programs. The whole point of judicial independence in this country is for courts to not be subject to the improper influence from the other branches of government. But this bill simply ignores this principle by basically tying the hands of judges, not allowing them to show the discretion to hand out a balanced punishment in many cases according to the severity of the crime and the risk of reoffending. In this case, the party simply seems to be ignoring the evidence and trying to appeal to its ideological base, particularly the socially conservative wing with its roots in the Reform Party. I think that they're also playing on public misperception. I mean, it's easy to think when you turn on the nightly news and you see a couple high-profile murders that violent crime is on the rise in Canada, when in fact it's at its lowest point in almost 40 years. I think this bill is being touted as a solution to a grave crime problem that we arguably do not have in Canada. Canadians deserve to know that this bill will change our country's entire approach to crime at every stage of the justice system, and rather than prioritizing public safety, it stresses retribution above anything else. Bill C-10 will make us less safe and less secure. The Washington-based Justice Policy Institute best summed up the situation when they said, if passed, Bill C-10 will take Canadian justice policies 180 degrees in the wrong direction, and Canadian citizens will bear the costs.